Always takes people a little bit to get on. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I was just telling Kristina that my area is supposed to be 92% eclipsed in about 29 minutes. So we might all experience this together, watching my background go dark and then light again.
It was pretty cool to watch, though. I already experienced it on my end, and it was crazy, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you already saw the eclipse or are planning to see it, but thank you for joining us. Alrighty, Kristina, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll hop right into it?
All right, so my name is Kristina. I am the VP of TherapyPMS and AmroMed. I've kind of had a billing background for over 18 plus years, and so this is where I'm at today, and I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome. I'm Cara Lechleiter. I'm Director of Sales at Motivity, and I am a VCBA. So I started on the clinical side, and for the last decade or so, I have been involved in software and technology made for this field. So like Kristina, I have a lot of experience in the tech world on that side of things within this field, and really excited to show you today the integration that we've been working on with TherapyPMS. And I do see that a lot of people on the call, it looks like there are some people that are familiar names to me, some who are not. So I know that some of you might already be familiar with Motivity. Some of you might be familiar with TherapyPMS, or maybe you're new to both. But regardless, there will be something here for everyone because we're going to really focus on the integration and how our two systems work together to create a seamless experience. And to that end, I just want to start by addressing one of the most commonly asked questions that I get, which is why would I choose two separate systems when I can choose an all-in-one instead? And what I think you'll see today is that when you do use two separate systems, which we refer to as the best-in-class model, you are really getting the best of both worlds. So you're getting a really robust tool set on the practice management side, as well as the clinical data collection side, because at Motivity, all we focus on 100% is that clinical data collection, and then TherapyPMS focuses on all the practice management, the billing, the scheduling, and so on. So all of our support resources, our engineering resources are dedicated to what we do best. And then with our integration, it was custom built to really create that seamless experience for the user. So it really does feel like you're using one system. And you'll see today all of those touch points and how really for most of your staff, they really are going to be doing their entire day-to-day in one system. If they're a clinician, they're going to log into Motivity. If they're an RBT, they're going to log into Motivity. They'll get their appointment information from TherapyPMS. They'll conduct their session, create their note, and then it'll all flow back to TherapyPMS. For your admins and billers, they are going to set up everything on the TherapyPMS side, and then they're going to get in from Motivity what they need to see. So it's a really nice way that for everyone to stay in their own lane, but you're going to be getting a much deeper and more robust tool set than what you would be getting from an all-in-one.
And what both our companies, Motivity and TherapyPMS, have is aligned as our values, one being customer service and two being multi-specialty. So if we're ready to kick it off, we're ready to jump into TherapyPMS.
Go for it. I already see my room getting a little bit darker, so we're all experiencing this together.
All right, sounds good. All right, let me share my screen. All right, can everybody see my screen? I'm hoping so. All right, so first we're going to actually kick it off with adding a client and adding staff and adding a session, and we'll kind of do a little high overview really quickly. So on the top right, you have your shortcut feature icons. We're going to quickly add a patient directly from here. So anything in the asterisk is what would need to be filled out. Date of birth. place of service. And then if you have an email on file, you can go ahead and put that on. If not, you don't have to. And we're going to go ahead and choose AARP and do create and continue. That's going to give you a pop-up to proceed to your patient profile, to proceed and enter your full demographic section. Okay. Now we're going to go to staff section. And on the staff section, you will add staff by either provider or office staff. Both of the concepts look similar. And again, anything in asterisks. If you want to track Social Security, you can input that. If not, you can add all zeros. And then email. NPI, you would want to put in, if you don't have it on hand, you can skip that. So anything in asterisks. And then you will hit save. If you missed anything, you will get a red pop-up letting you know if you missed anything. Okay. And then you can click directly into the staff and you'll have your full staff section. Okay. So now we're going to click over and add an appointment. And you can add recurring appointments. You can click anywhere on the calendar and add an appointment, or you can also use the plus icon at the top and create an appointment directly from there. So I'm going to use Maryland. I'm going to add some ABA. So again, we are multi-specialty. This will let you know how many units are remaining. And place of service. Choose your date span. You can schedule out the reoccurrence pattern, which is kind of nifty in here as well. So we're going to do that. We're going to do our start time. Let's do and reoccurrence. So patients seen every Monday. And you can do this by day, week, or monthly as well. So you're seen weekly every Monday. And you can schedule out again, like I said, through the end of the authorization. I'm going to schedule out through the end of May and hit save. And all those appointments will actually update and you'll see those refresh in the system. So right now we're on week view. And then if we go by month, you'll see them scheduled out. Okay. All right. So back over to the dashboard screen. So on your dashboard screen, it's kind of a high level of tracking of your whole software. So again, you have your shortcut feature icons up here where you can quickly create patient, create an appointment, request eligibility from the clearinghouse, verification of request, and then authorization request. You can send broadcast message to your staff or to your clients if you just want to notify them of something, what's going on. Quickly expand. You do have your megaphone that's going to give you any updates in the software, and then you can click on them and drill down. It'll give you a bigger overview. We have a chat feature icon as well. You can, all your downloads will come directly here and you can actually encrypt with the passcode. And then you have your reminders icon if you're sending out any intake forms. Again, so it's tracking everything within the software. You have today's AR task follow-up bucket. Patient's going to let you know if authorizations are expiring. Everything in turquoise you can actually click into, drill down to, and download reports as well. You want to track anything on your staff as well. Letting you know if your billing's going out the door. You can click in here and see all the sessions, scheduler, letting you know what's scheduled, what's not rendered, and then you have your KPI trending reports as well. These are real time, so you can pull as you're posting, same second, it'll still pull on there as well. Okay. And then again, you have your different modules for in here. You have your settings section for your full facility setup, billing, appointments, staff, payment posting, and we have payroll as well and more reporting capabilities. Okay. That's kind of a high-end overview. You do have knowledge base and chat features as well for TherapyPMS too.
That's awesome. And I do love too that it is multidisciplinary. I know that there are so many clinics now that are moving to that whole child approach where a learner might be receiving ABA, speech, and OT all from that one provider. So really exciting that both TherapyPMS and Motivity can handle that. And
absolutely.
That's really cool. So I'm going to take over now. I'm going to show you from the Motivity side what it looks like to actually go ahead and sync those learners. So let me just take you back one step here. In my system settings, I am under my integrations. I am integrated with TherapyPMS, and then I do see that I have both learners and members that live in this account. And this is just showing me the status of who is linked and who is not linked. What's really nice is this is a bi-directional workflow. So if you are creating your learners or your staff in TherapyPMS, just like Kristina just did, it flows into Motivity, and I'll show you quick and easy, just one click, you link them together, and all the information that's being filled out flows in. All of the appointments will flow in as well, which is really great. So for example, I can go into my learners. I see that 3 are linked and then 6 are not linked. All I have to do is click on a learner, and I click the learner's name here. And in this case, it's going to create the learner for me. It's going to bring over all of that demographic information that Kristina just put in. So simple and easy, no need to re-enter information, no double entry. Again, giving you that feel that you are using one single system. And Kristina did also go ahead and add that appointment. Let me take you back to the login page for Motivity. So this is what you see when you first log into Motivity. And with our integration, you have this appointments card. So now to put on my hat as the behavior technician, I am logging in for the day. I am ready to do my work. I click on this, and here are all of the appointments that are flowing in from TherapyPMS to Motivity. You could see that that appointment that Kristina just added is already here. Everything will come over very quickly, and any changes, any updates, any cancellations will be reflected in Motivity as well. So you can feel really good knowing that when your scheduler goes into TherapyPMS and puts everything in, that it's coming over to Motivity, and your technician will see their schedule for the day. I do also have this calendar view, so if I want to see what I have scheduled for tomorrow, I can pull it up. Right now I have nothing, but if that changes, we'll see those come up. I'm going to go back to today, and let's get started. It looks like I have a few sessions today with my learner Marlon. So let's go ahead and get started with that. When I click on this appointment, I can go straight to my collect data card, which is where I'm going to focus most of my time on today. I am logged in as an administrator to Motivity, so I do have access to all of these cards, which include all of my clinical pieces for building out my reports, for evaluating my programs in progress, and so on. But for today, we're really going to focus on this collect data button. As soon as I click on collect data, now I did ahead of time for this learner assign all of the programs. Motivity has a community library of templates. We have almost 1,000 templates that really consists of any ABA procedure, protocol. We have speech, OT, PT. You can build out assessments, really anything that you need, you can take from our community library and then customize further. So I did already assign programs to Marlon, and you'll see what those all look like. In this upper left-hand corner, I have my session types. Now, as we are talking about multidisciplinary, Marlon here is receiving ABA and speech. So all of my ABA programs are under this session right here. So I can see I have 9 programs with 36 targets. I also have a speech session that has my speech goals here. And it is completely up to you. You can give everybody access to all the different session types, or you could say, I want my RBTs to just see the ABA session, and I only want speech therapists to see the speech session. So really, however works for your organization, that's what you can do when you create those roles and permissions. So for now, I'm just going to walk you through data collection to show you what a session looks like on Motivity. So I'm going to go ahead and start my ABA session. I'm going to put in my start and end time. And this is really so I can go ahead and calculate rate and all of that stuff. And I'll show you how that corresponds to the actual appointment later on. As far as my intervals go, you can start your intervals with the session. You can do partial, whole, or momentary time sampling. For now, I will just do this partial interval to show you what it looks like. As soon as I start the session, all of the programs that I have assigned to Marlon open up right away, and I could just go right in and I could start collecting my data. And you can see my intervals are already elapsing in the lower left-hand corner. Now, The standouts about Motivity to me, which you will see as we go through, are the customization. So you'll see every program that I'm collecting data on, I am able to create the measurement tools and the screen exactly how I want to see them. Even within this one program, for example, I have a different prompting hierarchy for each target, which is really cool. So you have full autonomy on how you want to set up your programs and collect data. I will get to this interval now because it is buzzing at me, but you'll see here that these intervals have elapsed. I am able to just quickly and easily fill those out. If I did not observe an interval, I can skip right over it and it will not affect the session outcome. I can go back at any time and I can edit, I can clear it out. So really quite user-friendly. For now, I will stop these intervals, but at any given time, the RBT can go in and open up an interval sequence that makes sense for whatever point of the session that they are in. It will open up in the left-hand corner. Now, the other standout about Motivity is our reliability. Everything saves right away. Everything syncs right away. You are never waiting for a page to load. You are never pressing a save button. We have had customers in the system now for over 3 years, and we have never once lost a data point. We have never once lost a session note. And we have 99.9% uptime. In all of 2023, we were down for a total of 6 minutes. So you can rest assured knowing that the software is there for you when you need it. Everything is saved right away. So as soon as I click this button, I know that my data have synced to the server. If I click this history icon, this is even more magical. Everything is graphed right away. So here are the data that I just collected. If I scroll down, I can see the raw data as well. I can see who collected it, what button they pressed, the timestamp, so on and so forth. I can also add in things like a trend line. I can split by staff if that's something that I want to look at. I could put in a histogram if I want to see the total trial count for each session. But this is all real time. We thought it was really important for the technicians to be able to refer to their own data as well as previous data when they're in a data collection session. Now, I'll just scroll through a couple more examples here because you really can get so creative when you are building your programs in Motivity. We like to say if you can design it on paper pencil, you can build it in Motivity. You can do errorless teaching, you can do your auto transitions, whatever works for you. Like I said, if you could design it on paper pencil, you can put it into electronic format. Here's an example of a skill acquisition program that's using a duration timer. What I love about our timers is you can start and stop them, or you can go in and put in the total when maybe that program is complete. So if you didn't get to that timer in time, you can do it that way as well. And like I said, everything is graphed instantly. So here's that information that we just put in. Now, from the RBT perspective, there are some really nice tools to give them complete autonomy over their session. There's this view. So right now I am in this view called Show Targets for the selected program, exactly what it sounds like. I can have my programs on the left and all of my targets on the right, and I can scroll through. I personally love this one for discrete trial teaching. Another nice view is Show Targets One at a Time, where it just collapses it a little bit more. I also really just love the visuals here. So you can see this particular program has a specification of 5 trials minimum, and I can see the progress I'm making on each trial and how I am doing. And then our final view is Show Targets for All Programs, and this collapses everything into an accordion view. And you can open and close it. I really like this one for naturalistic teaching or maybe group instruction because you can have multiple sessions open at once. You can also utilize this filter feature. So maybe we're only going to work on our NET programs right now. And so I could very quickly and easily open, close, so on and so forth. I'm sure you noticed that as I am toggling around, there are a few targets that are following me regardless of where I go. These are my pinned targets. You can pin anything to the bottom of the screen. The behavior technician has the full autonomy to do so, and the system will remember what they had pinned for that learner the last time that they ran a session. So nice time saver, because typically you'll want those same high frequency targets pinned. So in this case, I do have crying pinned. So maybe I'll start my timer here. I can go back to whatever it was I was doing. Maybe I prompt them to ask for a break. I could come back. I could stop my timer. I could put in my note, break, please, and do it just like that. And any anecdotal information that I capture is going to be saved in my raw data as well. Here is an example of a frequency count. So I can collect the data as the behavior occurs, or I can go in and just put in a total at any given time. In this case, it's asking me for antecedent, but I really can set up my interface however I want it to look. I can put in another box for consequence. I could just say, tell me what happened. That's what I love about Motivity is however your staff need to be prompted through, you can set up your data collection screen in that way. So in this case, I'll say we were transitioning from the playground back to the classroom. And I know that information is now there for everybody to see. Now, the last piece I want to show you is really, really applicable to our integration here, and that is creating your session note. Now, on Motivity, you can create just about any template that you can imagine. You can create caregiver communication logs, incident reports, evaluations. So if you're working with an occupational or speech therapist that have certain SOAP notes or certain evaluation notes that they need to write, they can build that on Motivity. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to show you what it looks like to fill out a session note and then link that back to the TherapyPMS appointment. So I have these 3 sessions today scheduled with this learner, and I'm in this 3 to 4 p.m. one right now. So by clicking this button, it is going to associate it with the TherapyPMS appointment. I can see that everything is good, everything matches. Now, if I do need to adjust the time, I just revise it here, and then it will sync up in both Motivity and TherapyPMS. Let me do that now so you can just see what that looks like. Maybe the learner arrived 15 minutes late, so this is when I'll start my billing. Now you'll see that this note here is already pulling in all of the information. So I set up this note specifically to match a certain payer requirement, but on Motivity, you are creating your session notes, your templates, your reports to look however you want. In this case, there's a lot of demographic information pulling in automatically. The start and end time of my session, if this took place via telehealth, if so, I can select what we were using. And then all of my data are already pulled in real time. And what I absolutely love about this is I can dock this note on the side of my screen. I could continue working on my session, and all of this information is going to get updated in real time. So from a workflow perspective, as a behavior technician, they can go back to another program, start collecting more data, and they know it's going to be added to their note. Let's take a look at this actually. Let's look at it live. I love this so much. So in this case, we're on one word mans. We're at 0 out of 2. Maybe I even realized, oh, this was actually independent. I marked that wrong. As soon as I update that, you'll see this updated in my note. And then if I do another trial here, you'll see it updates as well. So everything is real time on Motivity. A supervisor can also log in from their end and literally watch the data flow in. It's very cool. This particular note has a lot of really cool features that really just make it very efficient for the RBTs to fill out and give you all the information you need for medical necessity. So this one has some drop downs. Again, this is all customizable. If you just wanted this to be an open text box for your narrative, you absolutely could. And then you'll see too that there are some required fields, and that's just set up by the clinician so that an RBT cannot submit their note until they have all of these pieces filled out. Here's an example of a multi-select. But you can really imagine here, regardless of the type of services you're providing, you can create a note that is applicable to what you are doing, just because of that level of customizability. This particular note does require a parent signature. Parents can either log into the system directly to sign, or you can route the note to them for approval so that they would log into their own Motivity account. They would see a queue of notes awaiting their approval, and they can do it that way. And then this note also does require an RBT signature. So you'll see here that this is all collected. Everything is all time stamped. So these signatures and the timestamps and the staff name are going to go into the therapy PMS appointment, as well as a link to the actual note itself. And then all the session time will also update on both ends. So now, from a behavior technician perspective, I am all done. I have completed my note. I can go ahead and end my session. It's going to ask me, there are a few targets I did not collect data on. So it's asking, should these be graphed as zeros or should these be not tracked? Or I can specify individually. I did not track these today, so I'll answer that. I'm going to put that my session actually ended now. I could also put it the expected or a different time altogether. I'm going to end this. And just to finish up this story here, I'm going to come back out to my pending notes, and I'm going to put on my supervisor hat now. So this is the final step before this note is going to sync over to Therapy PMS. The supervisor is going to come in and they will see there's one note awaiting their approval. They can take a look through, they can make sure everything looks okay. If they're happy with it, they can click approve. If they would like to reject this note, they can put the reason why. So maybe I want to say something like, please add an additional reinforcer and re-sign your note. Now, when the behavior technician logs in, they will see one revision request, and they will click on that. They will see the note. They are going to see all of the information from their supervisor on why it was rejected and what they need to do. And then all they have to do is scroll down, adjust the note accordingly. So maybe we also did high fives. This does also require that they re-sign the note, but you are building your own approval process. So whatever steps make sense for your own workflow, that's what you would put into your note. So let's re-sign that. If you click on this little history icon, you'll see that all of the versions of this note are saved on the back end. So in the case of an audit, you are completely covered. You have all the original timestamps, all the information on what was changed, and so on. So now, finally, the supervisor can come back in, see that I updated my note. Okay, let's just double check. Looks great. They added in another reinforcer. They can approve this note and they can submit it. And now what that's going to do, it's going to remove it from the queue here, and it's going to now append it to the therapy PMS appointment so that billing can take place. So from the RBT perspective, from the clinician perspective, my day-to-day was handled in Motivity, and now I will pass it back to Kristina to show what it looks like now from the admin and biller side.
I love how user-friendly it is and how many, different options and stuff that you have for Motivity too. All right, so back onto our side and how it syncs. All right, so I'm on the dashboard screen and you will navigate to your appointment tab. You go to list view. So I'm going to pull for today's date. And you can, again, we're multi-specialty, so you can pull by that, or you can pull by patient. And I'm going to click go. It's going to show all the sessions that are in here for Marlon. And you see this little yellow icon lets you know that there's a note there, and it does auto render. As you see, the time has changed. I am on Central Time, which is why it shows 2:15 to 3. So you'll see the difference in time zones from the area that you're at as well. But if you click on the 3 little dots, it says view Motivity notes right here, and it turns green. If you click on it, you actually get a PDF copy of it. So if you ever needed it for referencing for notes or anything for billing purposes, you have a copy here without having to log into Motivity or have a provider do it for you. Okay. So now that session is rendered, I'm going to go ahead and just auto render just a couple more sessions for today. They changed my time. Okay. Now I'm going to go to our billing side, and we're going to go to primary billing manager. We're going to pull up to today's date. That's going to pull anything that you want to do billing for. Typically, you'll just pull for the date that you want to do billing for. If you want to do the week prior, that's fine. I go insurance by insurance. Some people pull all insurances at once, but I typically go insurance by insurance. So I'm going to start with AARP. So you can see this one, how it's set up. And claim status. You have more filters, so you can filter out different ways as well. Okay, so it's auto going to pull based off your scheduler. You can see any sessions that are clubbed. Your units pull based off your scheduler, and then your rates will pull based off your rate list that we enter. If you do need to make any changes, you have the option to make changes. So we're going to round off on our units. And click go. So our units rounded. We have our time there and everything. We have your rates. If you need to update your treating provider to 24J, you have those options as well for like TRICARE and stuff like that. So we're going to select all of these. Everything looks good. And we're going to generate the batch. That's going to batch your claims. We'll go over to Manage Claims tab. You can push to SFTP first, but I typically like everybody to pull by, do a batch first and pull by claim, because that way you can actually see what the claim form looks like prior to submission. So here's our claims. And you're going to click on the 3 dots and view HCFA. This actually gives you a HCFA form before it goes out the door, so you can view everything prior to submitting it to the clearinghouse. So as you see, like this one's missing servicing facility. So option for why you would check the HCFA first, making sure your auth number's there, everything. Okay. If you did need time, we have the function to add time for like TRICARE, Medicaids, or anything. We have those functions for each payer set up as well. And then if everything on your claim form looked good, we're just going to select it all, and then you would push it to SFTP. That's going to push it to your clearinghouse that you're using. That's kind of the billing. And then you have your AR ledger reports that you can pull and look at your AR that's going out the door and everything. You can pull by patient or by insurance. And then you have the option to choose these. Let's choose our date this year. Click view. So, and if there was anything in here, it's going to show anything that goes out the door for this payer. And then you can actually document notes and everything. You can download from just about every screen as well. And then if you're posting as you're billing and stuff out the door, your numbers will refresh here. And you can also refresh the icon here to see your numbers. And that's kind of it for an overview for TherapyPMS. Now, keep in mind, again, we do provide discounts because we're mutual clients together. So we do provide discounts for being mutual clients of Motivity and TherapyPMS. We are multi-specialty driven softwares. So that's a big plus for everybody. And our customer support teams work seamlessly together to ensure a smooth onboarding process across both the systems.
Yeah, and Kristina, were there any additional features you wanted to point out for the multidisciplinary side?
So as far as the multidisciplinary side, we have where you can do combination codes and stuff when you're scheduling. We also have, as far as if no authorization is required for like speech or mental health or anything like that, we have options for those to where you don't need to input authorization. So when you're scheduling, so if you did create an appointment, you have a toggle feature for no auth. You can do your billables and non-billables in here. We also offer group therapy sessions as well. So if you have multiple providers and patients, you can add those in too.
That's really cool. So it kind of seems whatever the organizational makeup is, there's a way to do it.
Exactly. We do have authorization tracking for utilization as well. So as you're scheduling and rendering, you can see the utilization as well. We do have patient portal as well, where they can pay via credit cards and stuff like that as well. You can store credit card payments as well in here. So you can auto run payments in here, assign out one sibling portal versus multiple. So we have lots of different features, lots of different customizations. We kind of set up everything directly for your facility. We have facility setup information. If you have more than one location as well, you have capability to add more than one location as well.
That's great. And I'm happy to also show from the Motivity side some of those features that make us specially equipped to handle multidisciplinary. One thing is that we do offer specific training for every person based on their role or on their particular job within an organization. So, for example, we have this SLP, OT, and teacher training, which is specific to those therapies. We have parent onboarding as well. If you want people to use, parents use that Motivity account to either just view notes or sign evaluation forms or even collect their own data. If that's something you'd like to do. And then we also have our RBT training, which is a 20-minute training to get a frontline staff up and running on our system. And then, of course, for our BCBAs and our clinical leads, there will be some more intensive training on setting up your programs, your libraries, so on and so forth. I also wanted to show you some examples of our notes. So under our note templates, this is really where you can go in to create just about anything, whether it's your treatment plans, your intake, your discharge forms, and so on. Accident and injury reports, but you can also do really cool stuff for developmental therapies. So let me just filter here by our OT and our speech notes and just some examples to show you. So here is a pretty robust occupational therapy evaluation. So again, you are creating this from scratch. You can get it to look however you want. If you have certain forms that you are already using in your organization, our Motivity customer success team will set it up for you so that you can hit the ground running, but also teach you how to go back in and make your edits and add any new forms as things come up. Here's an example of a social skills group that is run by an occupational and a speech therapist. This is an example I cloned from one of our customers. So again, you're able to see really how customizable this is and how every service provider is able to create what they need, and it could all live in one system. I did also generate a progress update form just so you can see what it looks like when that form starts to actually pull in data. So something I absolutely love about our forms is you can create anything you want, and you could pull in your target graphs. We just have added a new ability to hide the target graph. So if maybe there are certain things that you don't want to show, you can either show or hide them, totally up to you. You can also change how things are aggregated. So when you are generating your report, it is really down to the individual learner detail, and as simple as a click of a button to adjust the way that you're looking at things, whether that is ABA, speech, OT, PT. The last thing I'll point out here is this role feature. So on Motivity, you can create as many roles as you need. Right now, I am logged in as an administrator, which means I see just about everything. But then I can create custom roles for everybody in my organization. So for example, a BCBA might only see a subset, and RBT is obviously going to see less. A lot of our customers, I think this is really clever, they'll create an RBT in training role where they even limit down the types of sessions that they're able to run and the type of session notes that they're able to see and fill out. So it gets really super granular. And then maybe they graduate to an RBT, and then maybe one day they're an RBT lead. But this is really nice too, because for your developmental therapies, you can create a specific role. For example, a speech therapist will only see the speech session and will only see the speech notes as well. So a really nice way to let people focus in on what they need to focus on and not necessarily get cluttered up with ABA or any other people that are providing services to that learner. And then all of that documentation is going to live in one place, which is really nice. All right, Kristina, anything else to add?
And that's about it. If there's any questions, anybody has any questions on any specifics or anything like that?
Yeah, utilize that Q&A. I'm also going to go ahead and share a slide that has our contact information on it, because obviously we did a very high level overview. We can spend a lot more time really digging in, going into the tool set that is available on both systems. And we would love to talk to you more. So please write down our contact info, but we will also follow up via email. Alrighty, well, if there are no more questions, we will call it a day. Oh, something actually just came in. What is the easiest way to switch between clients in a group setting? I am assuming that is a question for Motivity, so I will go ahead and answer that. Let me go ahead and share my screen again, and I will set up that exact scenario for you, so you will walk through it with me. So the easiest thing to do would be to go into your learner list, and you would open up a session for each learner. And actually, this particular account, I do not have multiple learner setups. So bear with me. I'm going to log into a different account of mine. But essentially, what you will see me do is open up a different session at the top of each tab, and then you could toggle back and forth very quickly and very easily. What I typically recommend, what I personally like, and everyone's going to be a little bit different, is to use that accordion view where everything collapses down so you very quickly and easily get to your programs. So for example, I'm going to start a session with my learner Merida here. Let's get started. And I'm going to go into my filter here and maybe in group today, we're working on her communication skills and her listener responding. So I might do something like this. What I really like for group is this view. I would also recommend, if you are doing a social skills group, to add a tag to your learner that says something like group or social skills group. And then you do the same exact thing for your next learner. So what's really nice is Motivity functions beautifully even when it's across multiple tabs. So let's collect data for London. London is already in a session here. Let's resume it and let's filter. Maybe in group today, we are working on her listener responding as well and her beginning language. So now I have all of my programs open that I want to work on between these two learners, and I can simply toggle back and forth and collect the data as needed. So that is how you would do it, and it's totally unlimited in how many learners you want to have open at once. Motivity does work beautifully on any device. About 60% of users do access Motivity on a phone-sized device. So the real estate redesigns itself so that regardless of the device you're on, all of your buttons are readily available. They're very clickable. It's really nice, and then you could pick up where you left off. So if I were to log in on my phone right now and join Merida's session, it's going to pick up exactly where I left off on my computer. And then I have my colleague Catherine in the chat. She's saying that you can save specific learners in a collect data view on your bookmark list on your browser. Oh yes, that's true.
Cool.
So what that our CSC team is so clever, and they always come up with the best ways to do things. So if you take a look at my screen here on my phone, I'm going to be really awkward and backwards, so deal with me here. So I have a couple little Motivity icons on my phone, and you could do exactly that. You can bookmark for the particular learner, and then that's all you would do is click it. So let me show you what it looks like. It actually uses my face to log in, which I appreciate very much. Now, if I go into Merida, who I have that session open with, you can see it's picking up right where I left off. I'm going to go into this view right here, and I could start collecting my data right on my phone from Merida, and I could toggle back and forth between those tabs that same way. Just, go back to my home screen, get my other Motivity tab, and then go back and forth if I have it bookmarked that way.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Feel free to add anything that I missed in the chat. All right. Oh, Kristina, looks like a question for you. What are the ways I can get in touch with a Therapy PMS customer support?
So typically customer support is driven through, we do it by email, but that email CCs me and the owner as well. So we're all copied on it. And then everybody, typically I do have a work cell phone that everybody can contact me via phone, via calling or texting, either one.
Great. And with Motivity, every customer is set up with a customer success consultant from our team, somebody like Catherine, who's in the chat. All of our customer success consultants are BCBAs. So they are with you for your entire duration on Motivity. And especially during your onboarding period, they are with you to set up your programs, your templates, anything you need for your session notes, your reports, and so on. And then they're also teaching you how to use the system. We use a most to least approach. So we start really with you every step of the way. And then as you become more and more fluent, we step back, but we are always there to answer any questions at any time. And we maintain, at least at a minimum, a monthly meeting with all of our customers where they can bring any questions or if they need us to help them with certain tasks. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you. This was really fun. It was really fun to see Therapy PMS in action and integration live and working. We already have a number of mutual customers and things are going really smoothly. And we're excited to continue to bring this integration forward as an option for ABA and multidisciplinary clinics.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristina. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.